The next step in doing these elevations is I kind of ended the last one with bumping out the soffits. Next thing to do is you need to kind of determine what kind of overall roof shape you are looking for. So in this case, I'll pop over to the internet here, and again, if you're not too familiar with architecture and with roof design and things like that, pulling up, doing a Google search for residential roof shapes is a great idea to kind of determine what the shape of your building is, and then what the look that you want is. And the shape of a roof really determines a lot about the look of a building, whether it's a Victorian style or arts and crafts or Georgian or contemporary, whatever type of architecture you're shooting for. So in this case, this cross gable roof is going to be sort of my pick based on the shape of my building and the look that I'm going for. As well as you can see down here, there's this shed roof. And a shed roof doesn't mean like a garden shed. It just means that it's a single pitch sloping down. So in this case, I'm combining this kind of up in this area as well as over here with my covered porches. So if I go back to AutoCAD, and this is what I'm talking about. So because I have this kind of T shape right here, I'm having a center line. So there's going to be a gable that comes out this way. So it pitches down, pitches down, pitches down, and then pitches down towards the back. There's a couple ways I could handle this little notch or bump out back here. So we'll get to that later. And it's important to kind of know, and this is kind of where I started. And you can see that I got to a point of confusion almost and saying, I need to go ahead and revisit this. So this one's a goner. Okay. And the other thing that's important to note is that aside from the locations of this ridge and this ridge right here, the ridge being the highest point of the roof where everything pitches away from it, these other things can change slightly. They're going to change. Like this square portion and this square portion are shed roofs, meaning that the high portion will be up here and the low portion will be down here. But I know that the high portion is not going to end on this horizontal line. These should be exploded. It's going to end somewhere up here, right? Because it's not going to start sloping from here. It's going to start sloping from up higher and wind up down here at the same soffit height as these are going to. But to get to that point, I actually need to go and figure out the roof slope first. So that's, again, keep in mind that these lines will change locations. Not the ridge, but the remainder of those lines are going to change locations at some point, okay? As soon as I start putting angles and slopes on the roof. So the next step, so I have one, I've gone from my floor plan, which is intact right here. And you can't make enough copies in this case. Copies are great. So you can make 2 sets of copies if you want. Not a bad idea to go ahead and copy something, stick it up here. So if you do mess it up, you can always go back to the drawing board. Okay. So the next thing I do, keep in mind also that all these kitchen countertops and blocks and things like that. These are what we would call elements of a presentation floor plan. This doesn't, the coffee table right here or these armchairs don't tell the concrete contractor, the framer, electrician. It doesn't tell them anything about where their measurements go. But I still always include one for them so that they can kind of get an idea of layout. But when this is all said and done, this whole thing will be dimensioned and we won't see any of these blocks. And right now, it's just adding more content to the screen that I really don't need. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go up here, and I do want to I'm going to turn off a bunch of stuff. So I'll turn off my, not my setbacks, but my, where is it? I should have a roof or a soffit layer somewhere in here. Hopefully I didn't put these on set. Oh, I'll turn off my roof layer, and that's going to go away. I'm going to turn off my door layer temporarily, and that's going to go away. I'm going to turn off my window layer, so that goes away. Turn layer off. I always wonder why that comes up when it asks you specifically. This column I'm going to need, so I'm going to also turn off my walls. I'll turn off everything that I need here. Oops, I can see right here that these two are still on a construction layer, so I should change these to my door layer. Okay, and it says that it's moved to a turned off layer. That's just fine. And these columns I'm going to want to keep, as well as my exterior walls. So I'll turn walls off, and column I'm going to go ahead and turn off. And at this point, the only thing I should be left with is blocks, countertops, the little yellow construction lines. So I'm just going to go ahead and select everything here because it matters nothing for the outside, and erase it. And once I'm done with that, I'll come back and I'll turn on the layers that I just turned off. I could have done that by locking them as well, but to me it helps to turn them off. So now I'm at the point where I do have my house from the front, and what you're going to do here is turn off your house, or you're going to go ahead and make a copy of your house. The way I kind of like to, you're going to need two adjacent walls to start once you get your roof going. So in this case, I'm going to put my west elevation, or the left side of my house, over here, because I always kind of want to pick the two most detailed or intricate sides of my house to begin with. Okay. So anyhow, I'm going to take this, and what I'm going to do is rotate it 90 degrees so that I've got what was the west side of my house facing downward. Okay. And I'm going to copy this then and bring it over here. And I'm going to rotate it again so that now I have the north elevation, or the back side of my house, facing downward. Okay. And I'm going to copy it one more time. I'm going to bring it over here, and I'm going to go ahead and rotate it. This way. So now I have am I correct? Do I have everything I need? Yep, I have the east elevation facing downward. Okay. So that is all I need to get started. I'm going to move these up because I'm going to want a little bit of room to work. And it's one other thing to note. This has nothing to do with the placement of the house on the site. Okay. Zero. So this is, this is just getting me in a situation to go ahead and what we do, which is called projection, method of projection. So in this case, I'm really going to have to hardly measure or input any distances, very, very few. So if you get yourself set up here, you're in great shape, and this is the next place you should go. So get that done if you're working on this. And now I'm going to go after this. I guess I'll do one more thing on this video. So I'm going to go ahead and turn to my wall layer, and I'm going to just draw a line way across the structure right here. And I don't care about measurements. I don't care about alignment right now. This is just a horizontal line way across. So it's from, it's bigger than I need to go past each one of these. I've given myself plenty of room to work. Okay. And for this case, we're going to use a concrete slab. So I'm not doing anything with basements or elevated first floor framing or anything else. Okay. So the next thing I need to do is determine height elements. Okay. So how tall is the house? So I'm going to go ahead and offset, and I'm going to make my concrete 6 inches. Offset of 6 inches, and I come up. Okay. Now again, I'm referencing another building right here, another structure on the property. So if I were to go ahead and dimension this structure, I can see, let's see right here, what do we have? I have a 10-foot first floor system on here. I believe my second floor is 9 feet. We can go ahead and dimension it if we wanted to, just to see. It might be 8 feet. So 9 feet too. I don't know how I got to that. Oh, it's because of this fascia board change. So I have an 10-foot and a 9-foot floor system in this, or ceiling height. So when I come up here, now I have a decision to make. Your ceiling can't be any lower than 8. And they're going to typically be on even whole foot numbers. So 8 feet, 9 feet, 10 feet, 11 feet, 12 feet. And I'm going to go ahead and use a 9-foot ceiling. I could use an 8. I do want to kind of go ahead and make this kind of blend, and I don't have any 8-foot ceilings over there. And I think 9 would actually open up a small space a little bit more. So next thing is come off the top of your concrete. So remember, this can symbolize the ground. This can symbolize the top of the concrete. And I'm going to go ahead and offset 9 feet. So 108 inches, however you want to input it. Click the top of your concrete, bring it up. All right, and then the last part, as far as heights go, is if I go back at Google, and if you're not familiar with wall framing sections or what they look like, you do need to be a little bit aware of this, okay? Like how the house is framed. If it was a 2-story, for my classes, because we don't get into the engineering load calculation part of it, we just use a 12-inch floor system for a 2-story house. When we get to the top, we use 6 inches. So above, whether this is a single story or a 2-story, there's another image right here. I'm looking for a ceiling joist. This is kind of good. But imagine this is the first floor. Okay, when we get up here, we're going to use a 6-inch ceiling joist. That's what that's what defines the ceiling. It's what the drywall attaches to. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to offset it one more time, 6 inches. Okay. And at this point, I've given myself all of the vertical information I need with the exception of the roof. Okay. So this is a good place to stop, and I'll come back with another video with the method of projection.